I noticed that.
Because they normally close Tuesday, Wednesday, and then open again on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll give them a phone call and
Yeah.
see. Just thought someone might.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, shall we start?
Yes.
We
Sure.
should.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to the first meeting of 2024. This is a meeting that was deferred from last December. We deferred it to the new year. And we have a full agenda today with lots of good items on there that are with a little bit of discussion. So I'd like to commence the meeting now. Steph, do you need a roll call or are you happy with that?
Oh, just we've got one late item for the agenda under new business. We'll add item 8.1. And
I couldn't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, let me try again.
We're going to add a new item
Better.
on 8.1, modernized legislation.
Okay. And I think we need two
And we have
more.
a document, just a quick replacement for the PDF under staff update 5.2. You received my
and-
email.
Okay, then, okay, the, one of the items we can do under, the emergency management legislation. The other is a, grant for the fire hall.
Okay.
We can put that under info
8.2.
items. Yes.
Is that word
9.6?
8.2?
Yeah.
I think she said info items. So would you think
Oh,
9.6, is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, it's just, information about a grant the fire department got.
Tess, do you have any update to the agenda you want to add? I can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I can. Oh,
Let's try again, Tess.
Still can't hear you.
Still mute.
Have you got one of your sound buttons on the top turned off?
Yeah, no, there we go. That should be good.
Good.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much. I was just asking, do you have any late items to add to the agenda? There are a couple that are already added there.
Yeah, there are things added.
Go ahead.
Do they already
Yeah.
fit under agenda items?
Yeah,
Pardon?
we have the EDMA and we have the grant, the firewall.
Yeah.
Added to the agenda.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steph. Steph, over to you.
that's it. Let's move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Okay,
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
second.
Thank you, Ed. All in favor? Everyone agrees?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Item 3, Steph.
Item 3, we're gonna adopt the minutes from the last meeting from
think-
the
I think we did.
October 17th.
No,
No.
2.1 is adoption of minutes. We just adopted the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me there. Yes. Could I have someone to propose that recommendation?
I'll move that the minutes of the Emergency Program Executive Committee meeting held October 17th, 2023 be
Yes.
adopted.
Got it.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion is passed. Item 3 are public comments, Steph.
We have no public.
Thank you.
So I
Go ahead.
just want to make one little sort of semi-announcement since Liam isn't here and I asked him if he was going to and he said, would I? So Tess, welcome to our permanent emergency program coordinator position.
Well, thank you. I didn't know that, but that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks very much. I'm pretty excited.
Well, that's good.
Good for you. That's good news.
very
Thank you. Okay, the business arising from the minutes, the EOC activation staff training tests. I think you were You provided a good report there. Do you want to comment on?
I would start a bit with the training. It was the training and exercise. It was started in November. We had 2 training sessions in November, and then the exercise was held in December. And this was all included in the 2023 EOC Community Emergency Preparedness Fund. All the current staff that would be expected to work in the EOC now have some training and have the basic training in it. And my goal is that all future employees that would be coming into the municipality would do the online sponsored training as part of their onboarding. I am starting some 1-hour training sessions with the EOC sections. The first one is starting next week. It's based on some of the recommendations from the after exercise report. So the first one we're just going to be getting familiar with the SharePoint and the emails and phone systems. And in addition to that, with the training, volunteers that were under the emergency management umbrella that were invited to the training. So volunteers from ESS, from NERPS, and the emergency communications team all were included in the training. And the exercise itself was a tremendous success. It was amazing. Get Set Solutions did a very good job designing an exercise that was very specific to Bowen Island. And one of the benchmarks for me was that on a 5-star rating system, participants started off with a 2.47 average in their confidence and ability to do their job in an EOC. And by the end of the exercise, it was a 4.27 star average. So I think that was a huge showing of what the exercise did. We did have more staff than the exercise could keep busy. So I had to do a couple of things to kind of reduce the numbers in the room. And one of them was that I really focused on making sure the staff was trained. So I reduced the number of outside agency invites that I would have liked to have extended. So as it was, the only ones that were invited were ESS and the RCMP, and that's because an evacuation was part of the exercise. In the future, I will make sure that all of the other outside agencies will be invited. Some of the highlights of the after action report was how well the BIM staff worked together and how well they did working together. I will be creating a recommendation spreadsheet, compiling the information from that report along with the report from the hot wash, which is the discussion directly following the exercise. And some of those recommendations have already been actioned, such as the 1-hour section training sessions. Some of those recommendations will require extra funding that can come from the hopefully the next grant, and other ones are bigger ticket items, such as reducing the noise level in the EOC, will require collaboration and with some other BIM departments and seeing where we can get the funds for doing that.
Is that something physical? Is that something physical you need to do, like put in sound barriers or something? Or?
Yeah, so we've talked about a few options, and probably the one that will do the most good would be to actually adding in a drop ceiling. That would accomplish a few different things if we did that work, which of course is obviously a very large project. It could do a few things. Number one, it could also address, there's a bit of a lighting issue in the EOC. The LED lights are incredibly bright. And if you're in there for long periods of time, people are finding it very hard to manage the lighting. And we also have, currently all of our plugs are from the wall. So we have the power cord stretched across the floor. If we did the drop ceiling, we could also drop those services from the ceiling as well at the same time. And the lighting would have to be switched out as well. So if we did it that way, we could accomplish a few things.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions on the report that they'd like to ask? No? Okay, well, I think that's a very good report and obviously very well organized, and the results speak for themselves. I'm very pleased about that. Indeed, it's good, and we look forward to working with you as you get the upgrades to the facility and any other recommendations that you're working on with respect to staff training, etc. And of course, we'll try and get as many grants as we can to keep this thing going. So well done. And
Yeah,
good
thanks.
job. Steph.
Are you asking about the next agenda item, or can I just pipe in that I participated in that exercise? It was really great. It was very real, very exciting. It was very sort of fast paced. And we do feel like we've done it. But they also commented at the end that they go around the province conducting these exercises. But he noticed, because we all work together, it's such a small town, we all know each other so well. He's like, you can tell that we all just really know each other, and that was an asset as well. But yeah, Tess did a great job organizing everything. It was really, really good.
Those comments were really in the report. That was very good.
Yeah, I really like that part of it. So where exactly was the
Suella's got her hand up. Oh.
fire? Oh, sorry, Sue Ellen.
Sorry, Sue
Chair,
Ellen.
may I?
We want to
Yeah.
go.
Thank you. I'd just like to congratulate everybody on this sort of landmark in our progress as an emergency program. To have an EOS, a tailored Bowen-specific exercise like this in our new Fire Hall Emergency Operations Center. I just think it's a landmark, and I think we should put a little white stone on it. And well done, everybody. That's great. That's a progress marker.
Thank you, Sue
Fire
Ellen.
was at your house, Allison.
No.
It was at your house.
Oh, really?
I'll let Tess speak to that.
Not quite that far down though.
Yeah.
It was on Cowans Road. It started as a fire in someone's shed, spread to the forest behind, and was going up the hill, threatening the critical infrastructure up on the top of Radar Hill.
Ah.
It got pretty exciting.
That's
It
wonderful.
was like then we're gonna do fire retardant. Getting in the drinking water was one of the 7 things we had to research, and it was really exciting. Yeah.
So fire and RCMP were there.
Yeah,
Correct?
the fire chief was the operations section chief. So he was involved. There would have been a second fire department person involved, except that person was actually in what they call the SIM cell, where all the phone calls are coming and going from. He was working in there to ensure that everything was as it would actually be. So we only had one fire in the room, one fire representative in the room, and the ESS and RCMP because of the evacuations. They're both involved heavily in the evacuations.
So no potential for people being injured.
In the exercise?
Right.
Why
Why wasn't an ambulance involved is what I'm wondering.
The only reason ambulance wasn't involved is because as I said, I was trying to focus on the staff and only having people in the room that were absolutely required for the exercise.
Okay.
And I will certainly, the focus really went on the staff this time because we had so many staff that had no exercise or any training or any exercise in the past. And so I really wanted to focus on the staff themselves. So we just tried to reduce the outside agencies.
Got it.
So next time when you do one of these, you'll bring in the ambulance, the BC Forest Service, etc.
Yeah, we like everybody would be invited into any future ones, the ambulance for sure, BC Ferries, the Marine, Cormorant Marine or whatever, the NERPs could be invited, the schools could be invited, emergency communications team, all of that would be invited to participate.
And the little water bombers.
Well, I think those would only be by, assuming they're there. Imagining that they're flying over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We all watched Horseshoe Bay last year, and 2 years ago. Yeah, that's very good. If there are no more questions, then we can move on to the next item, Steph.
Let's go to.
That would be item number 5.
Yeah.
That would be the volunteer updates.
The volunteer updates. Okay, so you might have seen on the agenda that I have started a monthly volunteer spotlight. And this is intended to highlight and honor one volunteer each month that fall under the emergency management umbrella. In addition to honoring the volunteers' accomplishments, the hope is that these spotlights will also pique someone else's interest and go, oh, that sounds really interesting. Maybe I could do that. And hopefully join one of the volunteer groups. We also, in November, I think it was, ESS invited NERPs to a mock reception center setup to kind of show the NERPs what it was that ESS does, and what we would be doing in evacuation. And it was a very well attended meeting. I think it went really, really well. There was lots of great networking, and one of the attachments was the article for the newspaper that Vilma Precious wrote. She's the co-chair for the NERPs. And I really hope that I want to strengthen that bond as much as I can support strengthening that bond as much as possible.
Good. One question I have is, where is that published? Is it in the paper or?
It was in the Undercurrent, and then there's a link to it on the emergency planning website as well, emergency management webpage.
Okay, good. Anyone got any questions on that item?
Yeah, not a question. I just want to say, Tess, I've been involved in developing these types of programs and this type of training and everything for a number of years, and I've done a whole lot of them. And I've very rarely seen anything like this volunteer spotlight. When I saw what you were doing there, I just wanted to, that's a really great idea. And I think it's going to pay some real benefit moving forward. So that's tremendous stuff. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Good. Yeah, that's quite true, John. Thank you for that comment, that appreciation. Can we move on to item 5.2, which is the staff update, the tracking sheet? I can test you're online again.
Yeah. So I can put out some highlights on that. I've got a kind of a list of highlights, and then if anybody has any questions, I guess when that's all done. Well, I guess.
Want me to share screen?
Sure.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, but you, Tess.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. You keep talking while I'm doing it.
Okay, so one of, I guess the biggest highlight would be that one of the composite and volunteer fire department training and equipment grant was approved. We did get that funding. So that's a $30,000 grant. It was denied in 2023, and I updated at the last meeting. I had inquired as to why it was denied, to see if there was any opportunity for future grants, and there certainly was. So it was applied for again, and we received it this time. So that was awesome. I could also I see yours, it says you started screen sharing, but I don't see anything. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, but now I can't.
There's the missing column.
It's January 2024 is included there. Okay,
Yeah.
but I need to,
I just sent around the news release.
okay, there we go. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Allison. So other than that, that's going to be way too small. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm trying to make it so that I can see more things on my one small screen.
well, I can unshare. I thought it would be helpful.
No, that's okay. No, that's fine. It allows me to do a couple of things at the same time. Fine, I've got it.
So this is in the spreadsheet that you sent around, I believe.
Yes, one that shows the.
Okay, got it.
But now I'm only on the screen share, I'm only seeing up to October. There we go.
Well, I just made the font really big, but I can take it down again.
I gotta get rid of everybody on the
Um,
side.
s- so we also received the funds from the 2022 EOC grant. So that was great. Everything else is in somewhere in a process. The NG 911, the steps 1 and 2 are complete. We have quite a bit of work to do on our end now to update files. That work includes identifying roads with alternate names, as well as landmarks that emergency responders could be called to. So that would be things like that Bowen Island Trunk Road is sometimes still called Government Road, or that Pebble Beach is often called Roger Curtis Beach. Those kind of things, and then identifying things like the baseball field or OPA, or those kind of things that people might just call and say, I'm at the baseball field. So that's kind of the next stage. The contractor is working on their end, and then we will start working on that work as soon as we can. A Fire Smart update. Most of the facilities, most of the BIM facilities are surrounded by forest, so it is difficult to have an assessment that is less than a high risk, but there are items that can be done to mitigate those risks. And when I have a chance, I will put together a spreadsheet of recommendations that include all the assessed schedules, all the structures.
Mhm.
The training and exercise, as I mentioned, I'm starting with the 1 section per month training sessions. And according to the recommendations in the AER, a discussion-based exercise should be happening this year, which I would try to include in the 2024 EOC grant application. And I'll also be starting on a 5-year exercise plan as soon as my time permits to get that settled. Starlink, we still need to assess if Fire Hall number 1 can acquire enough signal to function, and if it does, our IT provider has said that yes, it would be a very good way to have a backup, a redundant backup for our internet services, and I still need to get quotes for that. I do have a couple of projects from a deal with Alertable that I'd like to do, but that will be as time permits. Really, that's what will be the problem there. And sorry, can you scroll down? I sent out the extreme heat response, the latest version. I don't know if anybody has any questions about that. The NERPs also have concern about insurance, which has been kind of rolled into a bigger project for us. Sophie is working on it and I'm working on it, and we're looking at volunteer insurance in general at BIM. So it's kind of become a larger project. Steph, can you scroll that down a little bit more? keep going. We're still on no work done on the projects. Oh yeah, so from that that ESS and NERP meetup, some of the NERP volunteers are also now volunteering with ESS, so that's been really great. For the emergency mapping, I have received some quotes. It's just we don't necessarily have the money to be able to do that work at this point. Do you want to scroll down a little further? That's the exercise. And
You know what,
starting-
maybe Tess, just a little comment or input. It'd be good if you could put on the left-hand column, maybe, or wherever, just a number. A continuing
Yeah,
number.
Sorry, what?
Am I missing there, like a reference number? So that,
Like-
so like people
Oh,
like.
yeah. Oh, the row number. Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry.
Sorry.
I meant like this question, ESS, which is an item, a line item there, line item 15.
Yeah.
If we could have a reference number on that, like 16 or 22 or whatever, I don't care
Is-
what it is.
Just number them consecutively, and then
Yeah.
we can refer to number 32 or something.
Yeah, because I'm having
So-
difficulty.
Do you mean other than like the row number? You want something
Well, the
Yeah.
row number doesn't show in the printed version.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll add that in for sure.
Yeah, like you can start 24-1 and 24-2, and then next year you can do 25-1, 25-2. Something.
So my plan with this spreadsheet was to, when things were completed, I would just hide that row so that it would still be there. It would still be there to refer to if you had the Excel spreadsheet. But it wouldn't show in when it was being made into a PDF, and it wouldn't, affect its use at all. But it would still be, if I numbered them, they would still be there.
Good idea.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
it's
Sue
Sue Ellen here, and I just wanted to mention last night was a library board meeting, and I just wanted to flag that Tess asked about the heat plan, and the library plans to add a water bottle filling station this year. So just you can keep something for you to keep an eye on, and to know that that might be coming. It hasn't been confirmed, that budget hasn't been passed and everything yet, but that's in the draft that we talked about last night. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Sue Ellen. Alison?
Just a couple of questions on the official identification for BIM staff and volunteers. The note says should be updated with new to ensure that all current volunteers have clear, and it trails off.
Oh, okay.
Are you
Um,
wanting new vests, or?
Yeah, so where is that line? Let me see. I think
It's under
Sorry, let me
plan.
just find it.
tab.
visual ID.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So, well, currently the ESS is including in their their latest grant application, they're including new t-shirts. All of the ESS t-shirts are outdated with old logos and such. So,
Okay,
and we don't
so
have
that
enough for new volunteers.
you're only
so that-
talking about ESS then.
The ESS and the NERPs are doing they've requested in their budget request some vests with the NERP indicators on them.
We've already got NERP vests, so this is just some more for new NERPs?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We have about 25 new NERPs since those were first passed out.
Okay.
Wow. Ed, quick question too, I'll come to you in a minute. How
Okay,
many-
and then I've got one more, going back to the naloxone. Sitting on the North Shore Substance Use Standing Committee. It's available in some places in the North Shore in the clinics and stuff where somebody can just walk in and basically they don't have to ask for it. They can just get it. But I guess my question at this point is, I'm assuming they'll have it at the new health center and be able to hand it out from there.
I can look into that.
Yeah.
They have it at the pharmacy.
I know, but I think part of the problem, I think, is people don't want to necessarily ask for it in a public place.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
understand that.
So I know I will follow up and find out a little bit more from the North Van people, just what places. I got the feeling that it was inside the facility, but in a little shelf on a corner, and you could just go and help yourself and didn't have to talk to anybody or anything. So I'll find out a little bit more about that, but I hope the new health clinic will have it.
That's
The
a very
latest thing
good.
are, the latest thing are just vending machines for Narcan. They're free. So, I mean, then you can go by anytime. You go by in the middle of the night if you're concerned about that. So, I mean, those are possibilities too. They're
Yeah.
fairly secure, obviously, and yeah, so
Well-
anybody can get them. Anybody can get it without necessarily being observed.
I guess the thing that I don't like about the vending machines is they're out in the open anywhere, and you could just, the kids could decide to start playing with them and just helping themselves and whatever. But if it's inside a facility,
Yeah, it
it's-
would have to be inside a facility for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll find out how they do it.
Gail, just a question, Gail. Do they have those on the North Shore, for example, those vending machines?
Seen
or-
them. Haven't seen them yet. But then I don't go looking for them when I'm in town. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I only see them when I need them.
I'll find out just a little more detail about I think if you went to the emergency outreach clinics in the North Shore, I think they're inside the front, in the vestibule and easily accessible, but not just out there. So anyhow, I'll find out a little bit more. But I really wanted to make sure that they would be at the new healthcare clinic when it opens.
I can
Was
look
there
into
another question there? I'm sorry, was there another question there? Did I see someone wanting to ask? And welcome, Liam. Nice to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Apologies for
My
being
fault.
late.
Understandable.
My fault, he's late.
You back
No,
up to work?
I'm scrambling here, like with multiple messages and emails and texts and and then trying to help my wife get out and get the generator going and all that. So because but all's
Okay.
good.
So you're a generator this morning, joining us by generator.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Yeah.
yeah, and one more, Tess. I had a couple of comments on the extreme heat response guide.
Okay.
But I'll just send them off to you. It's the contact page.
yeah, that's a good point. I saw that. Is that Adam's gone, isn't he?
Adam's gone, and I don't think Mark Letician's the right one now because we've got I always want to call her Victoria. Chow. Alex Chow is the public health officer for the North Shore.
It's very hard, just as a comment, it's very hard to keep those types of things up to date.
Exactly.
Every plan I've ever written, it's out of date as soon as I publish it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to
Yeah.
do about that.
I will look over that contacts page again and update it. Were there any other?
No, it was just those two that I don't know Samantha Wilbur. I have no idea who she is. So I'm guessing, yeah, I haven't run across her at all. Yeah.
So thank you, Tess. It's a good spreadsheet. With some numbers on it, I'll be able to follow you better next time.
A lot of work. Great, thank you.
And yeah, when you look at that, it just tells you what's involved here and what on earth you're getting into, because it's a lot of work. And it's good that you prioritize it, because you could easily go astray if you didn't prioritize it there. But thank you very much. Good job.
Thanks.
We can move on to item number 6, which will be a review of the action items from the previous meetings. And I think, Steph, I see your name on that.
Okay. I will share the screen. that working?
Yeah.
Okay, so Liam, Aaron, and Tess, rename the extreme heat response guide appropriately and ensure edits are applied. Yes?
Yep.
Done. Tess, edit the chart pursuant to NERC feedback. That's the org chart.
No, yes.
Done. Post the emergency services organizational flow chart on the BIM website.
I have not done that yet.
Share EOC training information via email to EPIC members to keep them informed. Do members feel informed?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Finalize disaster debris management.
That's
I haven't-
ongoing.
It's an ongoing, it comes up somewhere later on as well. I think. No, that doesn't, but it's ongoing. Okay.
Okay, there was the discussion of the wildfire plan having to be adopted or endorsed or received by council. And what implications that would have on funding and if there are timeline constraints.
We did receive the Fire Smart funding, the Fire Smart grant. So
I think we can delete this. I mean, typically, any one of those is sufficient for UBCM, but preferably endorsed or adopted rather than just received. But I think it's important to note that when council endorses or adopts a plan, it's essentially saying that they agree to the contents of the plan, but it doesn't commit council to enacting all of the elements of that plan, especially if the plan has a long list of recommended actions, because only the budget appropriation can give the authority to proceed on those things.
And Liam, a question, if it said adopted, does that imply funding?
No.
No, okay, so none of those do. imply funding.
But if you adopt it and there's a recommended action, I can't remember if the plan says subject to funding, which I think it should say. I attended a legal MIA cases of interest update yesterday, and one of the cases, a recent case, sort of a different fact pattern, but it was all about this. One of the things it centered on is when it was a policy, and the higher up the decision is made, the more chance you've got of being sued. It was, if you're not following your policy and things like that. So I think we have to be careful about endorsing or adopting it.
I like the language that you suggest, Councillor Morrison, for the plans to always have like a caveat around that. And at the province, we used budget appropriation was the term we used. And so
subject to annual budget approval or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at any order of government, they'll have myriads of plans that commit them to tremendous amounts of work and money required to do that work.
Yeah.
But they're often aspirational and still require a budget appropriation to engage that actual work. And so I wouldn't want to stop planning and stop council being informed of the planning just because we couldn't afford to do it.
There were sort of 4 different things, and so if we had a thing that said we were going to do, clear 10 feet on either side of the road, and we don't, and there's a fire because somebody drops a cigarette butt and it spreads to the interface and the person sues us because their house burnt down. That's it's just, unfortunately, it's just the litigious communities we now live in, and just putting all those CYA comments in there.
Right. Well, so we'll make sure going forward that we have that type of language in there.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Joanna.
Thank you. I just wanted to note, I'm looking in my wildfire file, and we've discussed this at most meetings since starting in November 2022. Discussion on whether to endorse or just receive for information this wildfire plan or by council. So I suggest we take it off the list. We discussed it thoroughly back in October 2023 again. And at that time, we had almost exactly the same conversation. And maybe if it comes back in front of council again, that would be a time to make changes. But it seems to me to be a low priority for this agenda. And I move that we remove it from the action list.
Sorry.
And I have a seconder there, and all in favor.
Aye.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll leave it with the council to figure that one out. Thank you. But there was a second bullet there, extreme heat initial response guide test.
Oh, those are just what's attached to the
Oh,
agenda.
okay.
So
Mhm.
that guide is linked and the org chart is linked.
So no more questions then on this this item. Okay. Let's go back.
Elections.
Which would you say the program organizations for NERP? Is that there's something here called Emergency Program Organization Chart? Is that
That's the org chart.
That's the org chart. Yes.
Where I can show it if you'd like, just that getting all our heads straight about all the different groups and where they land. in
Trying to find
relation
it
So
where-
I made some adjustments to it as per Edward's request from the last meeting.
Okay. Trying to
I'll
find
do a
it.
share screen. It's quite helpful. Can we see it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it in the items. 51 pages, a lot of pages.
Oh, you're not on the, I use the HTML,
Yeah.
and that way I can just quickly link to the item from the agenda.
Oh, is that what you do? Okay, smart move. Wait,
Yeah,
no,
so if
but-
you scroll down a bit, Steph, we can see the change to the NERPS description.
Okay. I got it. Oh, I'm not seeing it I'm not seeing a link there.
It's on the screen too, if that's
Thank you,
easier for
Ed.
you.
That's easier. Oh, okay. So what changes did we make?
Just,
The only
Description of NERP.
yes.
Okay. The grassroots.
I was cleaning out my files with nothing better to do the other day in the snow. And I found a little card that was a mail drop that was done a number of years ago. And it was actually, I guess, I'm not sure if it was tailored to each mailbox area or not, but I think we've sent out cards asking for NERP volunteers, haven't we, Ed? But have we actually sent out a card that tells people to contact their NERP in the following sort of areas, or?
That would be, yes, we have sent out, we've done
Yeah.
several mail outs, pretty much explaining what the program is and asking for volunteers. The problem with specifically saying you live here and this is your NERP volunteer
Yeah,
is that a number of places on the island still do not have volunteers. So what the process is, and that seems to be working, is people go either through tests or come to me and say, who is my nearest NERP volunteer? And then we put them in contact. We are also doing right now, every 6 to 8 months, we do an audit of the volunteers, make sure we've got their up-to-date information and that they're still involved in some way, shape, or form. And what we're doing now is we're sharing with the zones, and we've got 9 zones on the island. So each zone we're sharing all the contact information with each other, with the NERPs in that zone, so people know that there's a crossover. But there was an issue a long time ago about some people feeling that they do not want their addresses or contact information public. In fact, we have 3 NERPs right now who have requested no specific address.
Okay. Understandable for some people.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big issue around that, around privacy protection. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Anything else on that organization chart?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Item number 7, I think we come to next, which would be if I'm correct, that gives you an opportunity to kick out the chair and get a new chair. So I'm very pleased to accept all nominations.
I would like to. Sorry, I interrupted there. I didn't mean to. I would like to nominate Bill to be the chair.
Second.
So does
Aye.
Bill wish to run again and remain in the position?
Yes, indeed. 1 more year, as they say. I would.
Okay.
Just getting the hang of it.
It's a 5-year appointment. Sorry, you can't do 1 year.
Thank you, John.
In
So
perpetuity.
do we? I think we need to. Do we have any other
Nominees.
nominations? Hearing nothing, Bill, you are claimed. Excellent.
Thank you, Liam. I knew you'd do that. I would like to have a vice chair, though. And last time we went around this question, nobody volunteered. If I don't see a volunteer on the screen, I'm going to ask any volunteers for vice chair who would like to. It's not a very onerous job. And I saw Liam. Oh, Sue Ellen, you want to volunteer?
Sure.
Excellent. Good job. Thank you. I like
Hey,
that.
I nominate Sue Ellen.
I second.
All in favor? There you go. Thank you, Sue Ellen. That's very good. Appreciate that. It's good to have a backup and so forth. Item number 8, new business. This was the modernization of the EDMA. I went through this the other day, read it after Alison brought it to our attention. I really thought it was an interesting new piece of legislation. And I guess now we're waiting on the regulations to come out to support that. And we're probably not going to do very much until we get the regulations. Is that correct, Liam? Or
There's an opportunity to voice concerns and have our opinions shared with them before they finalize the regulations. And so they're in this period right now where they're still drafting, and so there is an opportunity to share concerns.
would that would come from our council, would it, as a recommendation by us to council, if we had anything?
Yeah, I mean, it can come formally from council. If it's from this committee, then yeah, it needs to go through council. I myself have provided some personal feedback at the Union of BC Municipalities. I attended a workshop with them, and then we did meet with the minister, and we did share some concerns as well. So mayor and council and myself met with the minister, and but so there's further opportunity if this committee did have anything that they felt was important to share. That now is a good time to do that. So perhaps a way forward, Chair, might be if you or anybody else on the committee felt there was something specific, to draft that in an email. We don't need to nail it down in this meeting today, but to draft that and circulate it in an email And then we can either ratify that by email at this committee level, or hold another meeting perhaps a month from now to then validate that before making a recommendation to council to then advance those concerns to the province.
Thank you, Liam. Has anybody on the committee got anything they'd like to say at this point on that subject?
I just tried to raise my hand and messed up.
Thank you, Alison.
Yeah. So there was a notice in from the emergency management people the other day, and we've got some money from. I found a news release somewhere, and so we've got some money from them to help us do some of the things we have to do with the legislation. But there's some things I think we've got to have started on already, and one of them is the discussions with First Nations as to who is the Indigenous governing body, the IGB. There's a whole series of new acronyms that are going to come out of this. So I guess is that Steph's job or Tessa's job to do that, or yours, Liam, or who's going to?
So we just got notification, I think it was yesterday or the day before, or maybe it was Tuesday. It's hard to, there's been so much happening at the provincial level, and so many amendments to different pieces of legislation. And so for this particular one, they sent every community an allocation of funding. For us, we got $40,000 that will be coming our way. And we're required to report out on the activities that we've conducted to help advance the new legislation and ensuing regulation. It's difficult to take full action without knowing what some of those regulatory requirements will be. So they've given us until the end of March 2025 to conduct this work and report back to them at the end of March. They also will provide us with what that reporting template and information needs to look like, but they won't provide that until February 2025. And so I think Alison, Councillor Morris is correct in that there's some work that we could be doing right now, but we don't know the full extent of what they're actually wanting us to do because the regulations haven't been finalized. So there's still a fair bit of runway to get that work done. There's in the funding that they've provided us, there's literally a checklist of actions that we can take to satisfy their requirements. And a key one, as Councillor Morris identified, is engaging with the local First Nation about areas of importance that should be known to us in the event of an emergency, so as not to disturb them or as to provide greater protection for them. And so that's the Squamish Nation. We have not yet reached out to them on this regard. You can imagine how busy the Squamish are without this work. And then every local government within their territory, so that's from Whistler to Vancouver, are now vying to engage with the Squamish about this particular legislation. So, but that's something that Tess and I will endeavor to tackle and figure out, you know, okay, exactly what do we need to do to satisfy the new legislation, and we haven't formulated a plan for all of that yet.
Well, I guess my concern was just the seemingly statement that we need to right off the bat identify who the IGB is, which is
That's Squamish.
Well, no, they designate who the governing body is that we will deal with. So that's the confusing part, because I don't think it's necessarily the council. It might be somebody else. So it's this Indigenous governing body, which seems to be, you know, it's a bit nebulous in sort of what I think it seems to be. You know, when I was reading the discussion paper and the technical paper, that they could designate a particular committee of theirs or a
Oh,
particular
yeah,
person?
yes,
or-
yes,
yeah.
but it is this, yes, that's correct. It is
Yeah.
the Squamish Nation is the first nation that we would be engaging with, but they can delegate that to whoever they wish.
They've got to tell us who we're supposed to be dealing. Yeah.
Do we
Yes,
have to ask them? Do we
yes.
ask them? We do. As far as handling this in general, Liam, am I right in thinking that you and Tess will spearhead this, and then you'll come to us at whatever point is necessary, or go to council whatever point is necessary? Is that kind of your general plan?
That's correct.
Okay, good. Has anyone else got any other questions regarding this new EDMA at this point? On that, we're really in a process at the moment, and I think it's pretty well being handled. I know there's Steph, maybe you have a question there.
Should I note this to be on the next agenda, or is that going to be past the timeline?
I think we should get an update at the next, as we go forward, probably have maybe a standing item that we get an update at some point, during the meeting. I don't know what others think about that. Is it too onerous?
Yeah, it's definitely an action item.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a good one too. It's very nice. It's a good change, brings it up to date, to modernize it, as it said, and we certainly need. That was 8.1. If there are no other new business, then we could move to the information items, and that's to do. We have one at the moment, which was an information item on the grant for the fire hall, which Tess, you mentioned at the beginning of the meeting. I think you mentioned it, Tess. Would you like to give us some information on that, or if that's yourself?
I've sent around to everybody the link to the news release. So
Okay,
we got $30,000.
excellent. Tess, just in general, Tess, how are we doing with grant applications? I know it's give me a top line sort of comment.
Yeah, so coming up, well, the ESS 2024 budget application or grant application is due next Friday. That would be for $30,000. We've just finished the budget. I'm just finishing the application now. I'm still working on the application for that. Then at the end of February is the 2024 EOC grant application deadline. At the end of March, there is a climate readiness grant. That's a very large one. I'll be working with Carla Scoos on that one. That's to do the mapping, the potential disaster mapping. So that's a very big grant, and that's due at the end of March. And in between there is the final reports that will be due for the 2023 ESS and the 2023 EOC grants.
Okay.
So those are kind of the ones that I'm working on right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Keeps you busy. Item 9.1, the information item, the council strategic plan. That's an information item. It's
a standing item on the committee.
It's on every
It's
committee.
out of date, this one, though. There's a new one coming.
okay. Anything to comment or report on, or let us know about, or we just moved on to the next item?
Yeah.
No councillor wishes to speak.
No, we haven't published it yet. We haven't finalized it. So we have to publish it.
All right, that makes sense, Alison. Thank you. Well, we look forward to hearing whatever that is. It's important. A roadmap.
Chair Councillor Fast has her hand up.
Go ahead, Alan. So, Sue Ellen, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going back a step. Tess, you're talking about the potential disaster mapping grant with the climate funding that you're working on right now. Is this something that the Environment and Climate Action Advisory Committee might help with? Because I'm on that committee and I didn't know that this work was happening. Maybe I should have.
No, I in my discussion with Carla, she says that it has been discussed by that committee.
Okay, then I missed it. Thank you. Very good.
What does that actually mean, Tess? When you're talking about I don't understand that quite. A disaster map of what?
It's basically to identify, oh, that's the flood risk one. So I'm just pulling up the disaster risk reduction.
Oh, the HRA.
Yeah,
So it's
Okay.
part of the hazard risk and vulnerability assessment report, or expand on that?
it's an expansion of that.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
reporting.
Thank you. That helps. Now I get it.
Okay.
Is it an actual map, like a topographical map or something, or what is it?
I haven't
Thought about
fully
it.
researched that grant application yet. But basically it is to map out the island of where we're most vulnerable.
Oh boy,
And
that's
some GIS mapping as well, so that
yes.
if somebody said this area has gone, then they'll know where it is.
I haven't
Okay.
fully researched that one yet. I'm still working on the ones that are a little closer.
I think Liam can give us an update.
Time sensitive.
No, I can't. But I was just gonna say that I think Tess will have more information when she's able to get her hands wrapped around it better. But I did have a different new business item, if that's if we can shift.
Please go
I
ahead.
just wanted to let folks know that through the Islands Trust, through one of our other trustees, Councillor Judy Getty, we were informed that the Western Canada Marine Spill Response Group, which used to be called Burrard Clean, is hosting a exercise. I think it's as soon as next week in Cole Harbor, that is going to be exercising a mock spill of that barge refueling station in Cole Harbor near Stanley Park. And so we've requested for Tess to attend that, which would be a really interesting experience to participate with that professional group. Western Canada Marine Response Corporation they're essentially primarily funded by the province and the oil sector, and the responsible agency for spills in our entire coast, really. And so it'll be really great for Tess if they let her participate to make those connections and see how they do things. So just wanted to let folks know that that's on the radar too.
Liam, is that a tabletop exercise or a reel on the water?
I don't know if they're going to go on the water. I think they're just setting up a EOC incident command center actually at the Coast Hotel harborfront there. And I don't know if they're going to exercise on the water or if it's just tabletop.
Oh, that's very good, Tess. I'm glad you're going to that. That's important for us, as we know what's going on and what will happen. Hopefully never need it, but this is very good. That's a really good thing. Thank you. The emergency program webpage, is that at 9.2? Anything on that?
Again, that's just provided for easy access for members and public to know where all the information is regarding emergency planning.
Okay, we've got 8 minutes left here. Transmit and response. Oh, sorry, burning permits.
So I've actually highlighted the paragraph that's relevant in this exchange. If you want me to share it.
Yes, please. Maybe you could speak to it.
The reason I'm highlighting is because we do get this at the front counter a lot about the burning permits being dependent on Metro Vancouver air quality.
And there was also a mail drop the other day that a little card in our mailboxes that, talked about getting Metro burning approval and stuff like that for open burning.
The approval isn't necessarily difficult. It's getting the right venting index to occur with when you have your fuel supply to burn. And it's an issue that's problematic across the entire province, especially for the forestry sector. The province is moving towards a no burn policy altogether, and I believe they're aiming to 2030 for no burns. And so currently you have to, on Bowen, you have to secure a municipal burn permit and a metro burn permit, and then you have to burn when the venting index is appropriate so that the smoke vents up and not parallel to the ground. And that can be quite difficult to line all those up. And so sometimes you see people will have large piles that sit for long periods of time. And the concern is in a rural community like ours that you're effectively leaving fuel on the ground.
Yeah.
And so if there was a wildfire, you have these fuel piles that are actually pretty dangerous. But I understand the rationale in terms of wanting a good venting index to ensure air quality is maintained. But it's like competing priorities, air quality versus fuel management. And so there's not a whole lot that we as Bowen Island can do other than perhaps try to lobby for, trying to somehow ascertain our own venting index. But the province isn't going to let us burn without having adequate venting. So it's either metro or the province.
Liam, where do you get that number or index? Where do you find that?
Metro has it posted on their site on one of their web pages.
So then it's up to the Sue Ellen. Go ahead.
Oh, it's Allison was first.
I'm sorry, Alison. I couldn't see that. Go ahead, Alison.
Yeah. Well, there was a little card that was a mail drop was in everybody's mailboxes, but if you don't have a mailbox up here or you've got no junk mail, I guess you wouldn't have gotten it. And anyhow, there's a phone number you call and it tells you whether it's a burn day or not. And I recall, I think Ian Thompson mentioned there was only maybe 3 or 4 burn days last year for 2023 where you could actually burn. I mean, they did manage to burn the burn piles that they had down here from clear cutting for the tree farm. But it's really hard to find a burn day. So that's my question. I mean, I don't know where the nearest index is, but it seems to be for the whole of the metro region, and it just makes sense. I think Tom's sort of pointing out that the wind patterns here could be very different from where Metro's taking their index readings from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sue Ellen, comment.
Thank you, Chair. I just have been keeping a list of comparing Sunshine Coast Regional District membership with Metro Vancouver Regional District membership. And I just wonder if anybody on this committee has any sense of, were there more burning days or burn days in 2023 in Sunshine Coast Regional District than in Metro? Does anybody know?
Is that a question or you want to?
Well, I'm just wondering if anybody on this call has any sense of that. No. Okay, then I might go hunt up the info. Thank you.
Should I write that down, Councillor?
No.
Okay.
Well, sure, you can write down that I asked the question.
Okay. I'm not going to make you accountable to the answer.
And Nick, you'll give us an answer, right?
Do you want that as an action item? I'd be happy to. Okay.
Interesting.
It's curious now you raised a question and just a curiosity in that.
Okay.
I don't see a lot of smoke coming from Gambier at all when I drive up the Sunset, so I'm guessing there's not a lot.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question because Sunshine Coast claims to be quite different from all of us, really, as they call it, the coast, as they call it, as opposed to the island, meaning Bowen, the island. Trans Mountain response to BIM comments on the human health risk assessment.
I've got a question.
Sorry, go ahead, Brett.
I found their response quite interesting. No surprises there. All dots have been and Ts have been crossed. Have we done a similar letter to around the LNG plant in Squamish, which I think presents a much greater danger to Bowen Island than a Trans Mountain oil spill? Have we ever had a chance to, as a municipality, let them know
Yes.
what our concerns are?
Well, I know
Yes, there's
there's,
been multiple responses from council directly to Woodfibre LNG.
Yeah.
And Woodfibre LNG came and did a presentation to the previous council. I think that was in 2022.
Yes.
So there's been multiple letters directly from council voicing opposition to that initiative.
and I think there is one out there right now for the works area, for the works yard for construction of the plant. I think that's maybe open for comment. But I think I read that somewhere. Councillor Fast.
Just if anybody's interested, I keep a record of when we've communicated with Woodfibre about their LNG plants, and council has also sent or talked to our MP, Patrick Weiler, about this and different things over the years, and going back to 2015. So according to my notes. So let me know if anybody's got questions, but yeah, council has been following up on that, and staff as well.
Is council satisfied with the response from Woodfibre?
As far as I know, council has been writing letters of concern since 2015, and I wouldn't say there has been any satisfaction that council has expressed, according to my recollection of my notes.
So there's been no letters similar to this outlining concerns and potential ways of dealing with them?
No,
From
there has
council?
been. There have been multiple
Lots.
letters from council
Yes.
to Woodfibre expressing concerns
Yes.
over the years.
But no response even to the extent of this one.
Oh, well, you can imagine the response is always
Yes,
in,
I
in the
know.
same
Yeah.
vein
Yes.
of like,
Yes.
thank you for your concerns.
The
Like, we take
unicorns
them
will take care
seriously.
of everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask
I
a question?
believe the ship for the work camp has left port and is on its way to
It's been in the harbour here it was here for over 10 days, sitting in the harbour waiting to go. Kind of interesting when I saw it. I didn't know what it was, but
Oh, is that what that is?
yeah, it looks like a big
Okay.
ferry.
Yeah.
It was in for refit. It came over from Ukraine, I believe, and it's in for refit. And it might be on its way up the Squamish now. I was curious when I saw it. I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen it before. Somebody had their hand up or asked a question there.
Me.
Go ahead.
Does Ed have a specific concern?
My specific concern goes back to the research that was done in 2007 by the U.S. Department of Energy and Defense on potential LNG accidents, and it was highly touted by Woodfibre because they cherry picked various parts and made it look like no problem. But if you look at the report, a good part of the island would be in I guess you'd call it a danger zone from either cold, freezing gas coming or explosion. It's a very, I can send it out. It's a very interesting report. It was redone, I think, in 2010, similar results. If you read it, there's a lot of reasons to be concerned. And it's from Sandia Labs, which is probably one of the more, I guess, believable government research situations.
All right, I'm not going to debate with you I think if you look at the report, it's what caused the ship to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I think we could leave it there because I could get it. I could jump in here. We could talk all day about this.
Yes, exactly. Let's not get going on that.
Having worked on LNG and trucks, I'm a bit familiar with it. Sue Ellen, do you have a comment? Your hands up.
Just if anybody has new reports, I'd be happy to see them. I've been bringing things to council about this, and happy to share anything as well. So if people want to get in touch with me outside of this meeting, that'd be great. I have read that Sandia report many years ago, and happy to talk to anybody about these items. And I will note that marine accidents is one of the 8 priority items in the hazards and vulnerability risk assessment that we now have. It's at the webpage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sue. And thank you, Ed and Alison. 9.5 is the Emergency Preparedness Fund grant application. That's just an information item, Steph.
Yeah, I think
That's
it
the
was,
30,000.
Tess touched on
30
that.
grand. Okay. Okay. I'll move on to item number 10, question period. I don't think there are any members of the public.
No
Eventually,
press either.
No press, no public.
Shockingly.
Pardon? Okay. Next meeting at TBD. How do you want to do that, Steph? Or maybe Tess, you had a question, or I saw your light go on there, Tess.
Oh, no, I was just looking at the agenda. Right? Just
Okay,
layer in things.
thank you. Steph?
So I just, I could do maybe three more for the year. You want me to lock those in? I just want to apologize for today. I had another staff was covering for me when I was away, and the doodle poll results said 9:30. So I went with the doodle poll and then didn't realize that she had sent a calendar invite that said 10 o'clock. So
That's okay. I think we all recognize that, especially when
this is
we
why
got-
people get control freaky, because when
I-
people help you,
yeah.
you lose control.
I kept telling my
My
wife it was 10 o'clock, and she said, no, that can't be right. I said, no, it's 9:30. What date is it? What time is it anyway? But then Liam
So
just
I
put
mean,
it on
I've
the right
talked to
track
Gail.
there.
Gail seems to be my most committed of other things. Does this time slot work for you, Gail? What are we on? Friday at 9:30.
Sorry, it was a question?
Friday at 9:30 is if I were to do that every 3 months.
No, I'm gonna be on 4 off, so it doesn't make any difference.
Do you want to send me your
I don't know it yet, because they're in the midst of changing us over. So just yeah, it's
Okay, I'll throw something out and then we'll
just
change it the
just
last
mark me
minute. Yeah.
difficult. That's okay. Yeah.
No, you're not difficult.
I'm good
No,
with that.
we can work it, figure it out. Okay.
Well,
we'll do it
My
on-
claim to fame. It's my claim to fame. This is-
So if it's 4 on, 4 off, that means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Not necessarily
then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Off
this
and then-
week, and then, but no. So it's 2 days, then 2 nights. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. And that doesn't start till April, but I don't know which 4 days and what are, they haven't assigned that yet.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
well,
won't,
I'll knock something up without you, and then once we get your schedule, we can jiggy it.
I mean,
can
and really, realistically, there's no reason why I can't log in from work and do this from work. I just can't guarantee that we will call away. But so that, I wouldn't worry too much about me. I'll make it
Okay.
work as best we can, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the same for Aaron as well. He's on call potentially all the
Always on
time,
the job.
just as you are.
Mhm.
Thank you very much, everyone. See if you let us know about the next meeting, you'll do a doodle poll.
Yeah, I'll send a poll.
Okay. If there are no other items then, or no other comments or congratulations or thanks to anybody, including Tess and her new appointment there. Thank you. Nice to know. Good to know. Well done, and we look forward to working with you more this year. Can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? We're 8 minutes over time.
So
So
moved.
Alison has moved and Liam has seconded. So all in favor say aye. Thank
Aye.
you.
Bye.
Motion is
Aye.
passed. Thank you very much for your attendance on this horrible day, and we look forward to better weather and next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bill.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.